What's going on, guys? I'm back out here in the woods. It's been a while since I've been out here. It probably looks a little bit different. These pine trees have grown up, probably doubled in size since I made a video out here last. But anyway, that's not the topic on hand. It's not the point of the video. The point of the video is to talk about PDWs and which one is the best one going right now, to me anyway. So if you've watched the channel for any period of time, you know that I've spent a pretty good bit of time and made a few videos on trying to figure out what the best backpack gun or gun to travel with, what the best option is besides your handgun, your pistol, CCW, whatever. Something a little bit bigger with more capability than just a standard Glock or standard 9mm handgun. And the first thing I come out with was a 7.5-inch 5.56 AR-15. And when I was building it back then, my options were 7.5, that size 5.56, 300 Blackout, or like a 9mm AR-15. I didn't do 9mm because I wanted something with a little bit more power. At that time, I didn't do 300 Blackout because the ammo was really expensive and it wasn't quite as popular, back then. So I went with 7.5-inch 5.56, and I quickly realized it's not a terrible gun, but it's super concussive. It burns really dirty because it doesn't have time to burn all the powder off, so it leaves your gun really dirty. It's just not the best option. So what I did then was swapped it up to a 300 Blackout, which is the way it is right now. This has a law folder. Excuse my sinuses right now. It's got a law tactical folder right here, so you can go in a backpack. 8.3-inch ballistic advantage barrel. So you can see when it's folded, it's not a very big package at all. That's what she said. It'll fit in a backpack even with a 30-round mag and the red dot on top. It is kind of bulky, however. It's heavy, it's bulky, it takes up your entire bag, and your entire bag is dedicated to this gun and whatever accessories, extra mags you have with it. Nothing else is really going in there. You're not putting a laptop in there because it's probably going to crush it. You're not going to put really any room or weight for anything else if you're just carrying like a casual backpack around town with you. However, this thing is super capable. It has a streamlight, flashlight on the front. It's got, full-size red dot, 30-round mag. It's got a sling, adjustable stock. It's an AR-15 pretty much. But like I said, the downside was it's heavy and it's big. It's just cumbersome for a backpack, which is kind of the role that I wanted this weapon to fill. I want to have something that I can carry around town. Like if I'm traveling, I can take it out of state. It doesn't have to be like an SBR where I have to do like paperwork to go out of state with it. I can go out of state. It can fit in the backpack. I can go in and out of hotels, in and out of my truck. I can carry it around town with me. If I'm riding with somebody else, it doesn't look obnoxious just taking a little backpack with you. People do that all the time. They keep their things in it. So I wanted something that I could carry like that would give me a little bit more capability than just a 9mm handgun. And so recently there's been a big kind of pouring or not pouring, big surge of like pistol chassis PDW things. Some of them are purpose built, or some of the guns are purpose built to be a 9mm like PDW size. I can't remember the name of it. If I remember it, I'll link it or put it on the screen. But the majority of them are just accessories that you put on a pistol to make it more, usable. This one is a Recover Tactical 2020. It's a clamshell style for a Glock 17. It does have this folding arm brace that gives you another point of contact on the back here. It has a mag holder in the front, so you can put an extra mag in, and you can get, you know, a little bit more stability holding the mag up here in the front. You can put a flashlight on the side. It does have a full-size red dot on top, although this is a plastic mount, so it's a little, it kind of moves a little. So, but I haven't had any problems with it holding 0. The only issue is if you take this thing out of the clamshell, like if you open it, the gun and the red dot are separate. So when you put it back, there may be some point of aim issue. I haven't really tried it or experienced it. It's just something worth noting. It could happen. But anyway, with this thing folded, it is considerably smaller and lighter than the 300 Blackout AR-15. This is like 3 pounds and change, and this is like 8 pounds and change. And you can see, you know, how short this is folded compared to this folded. There you go. That's the size difference. And you wouldn't think it's that big a deal, but you know, when you're putting it in a backpack, it is that big a deal. I've carried the 300, the Blackout, in backpacks traveling for years. It works. I've done it. It works. You have to find a bag big enough to do it, a bag strong enough to hold, and you know, to be able to hold the gun and not tear apart or wear out, whatever. It's bulky. If you have to, like some bags, you can carry it muzzle down so you can grab it better, but you have to make sure it has a way to support the weight. And if not, you're going to have the muzzle like pointing out of the bottom of the bag, and that's kind of obvious and annoying. So what I usually did was, some bags I would just lay it down like this and put this flat on the bottom. Then you've got the muzzle pointing up. Which isn't a problem because I didn't carry it loaded, or I didn't carry it with a round in the chamber. But like this, you have to pull it out, then turn it over, flip the stock. If you had it down like this, you could just theoretically grab it out, shoot one shot if you had it loaded, and then flip it, and then you know, you still have to charge it again because that round wouldn't come out. So at any rate, this one is a lot smaller. It can go muzzle down, muzzle up, whichever way you want to store it in the bottom of the bag. You can shoot it just like it is. You don't have to unfold it to shoot it. The only downside with this particular model, it doesn't have a safety on it. The Glock has, you know, its own safeties, but when it's in a holster, the trigger is covered. The trigger is not covered on this one. Some of the other models, I think for the SIG, maybe it's the Flux Raider, might have a safety on it, or some of those, excuse me, have manual safeties because you can change the grip module out. With Glock, it's just, you know, the gun is the gun, which is one downside of using the Glock versus a SIG. I don't have a SIG, I have a Glock, so I use Glock. Anyway, you can shoot this thing like a normal pistol, just like this, with it folded. And then if you have time and opportunity, you can unfold it and get a little bit more stability on it. You can even shoot it like this, you know, hand on the extra mag. It doesn't matter. Point is, you can shoot it folded. So I know in the beginning of the video I mentioned I wanted something with more capability than a 9mm handgun, and what I showed you was a 9mm handgun essentially. And I also said the reason I went with a AR platform and AR platform to begin with was it had more lethality than a 9mm AR. So what really changed my mind was the practicality of being able to use this, is like practicality versus lethality. I'm not trying to defend myself against like an army of people. You know, I'm not going up against people in armor, and you know, I'm not getting kitted up. This is just something like emergency to get me out of a bad situation, to, you know, get me back to my vehicle. If I'm out of state, it can hold me over until hopefully I can get back to my state. Whatever, you know, for whatever reason, something might happen. This is what this is designed for. And yes, it is a 9mm pistol essentially, but with the added brace right here, you get that much more. You get one more point of contact, and you get a little bit bigger of the front of the gun right here is a little bit bigger, so you can get a better grip. You can spread your hand from here to here and get a little bit more stability on it, like this way, because when you put your hands together right here, it spins easy. You get it right here, it's a little bit wider, axes, things like that. It's just a little bit more stable. And you also, it gives you room. I've got a rail over here and a rail over here. It gives you room to add more accessories. I've got a flashlight here. I could put an IR laser over here if you wanted to run like night vision. It gives you the opportunity to put a real like full-size red dot on it and get it up above the slide. So if you did want to run, night vision, if you had night vision in your like emergency kit or your whatever you want to call it, you could run. It gets it the bore, the height over bore up enough to where you could probably get your night vision behind it. The only issue is this little thing is probably gonna, like make contact with your nods. So you might want to get the one without the charging lip on it. But anyway, it just gives you more capability, more options, and a better shooting experience versus just a handgun. I can make hits better with this than I can with a handgun, even with a red dot on it. And while we're talking about weapons, we also have to talk about the system as a whole, your support gear, I should say. And pause. This is what I have for my PDW truck gun, whatever you want to call it. It's just a little small Condor chest rig. It's got 3 magazine pouches for 9mm right now. Excuse me. It's got Glock mags in there. Some have extensions, some don't. Just various sizes of Glock mag. They're all at least a 17, so they'll fit in the gun. Got some gloves hanging, and I've got a little first aid kit. And I've got like a bandana shemagh type thing in this little flat pouch in the back. So anyway, this is not very big. It's not very heavy, even with 3 mags in it. It'll fit right here. I can wear a backpack with it, because if you're in your car and you're worried about this type of thing, you really need to have a backpack with more support gear in it. So this will integrate very well with a backpack. I can put it under a coat if I needed to, like maybe even a button-up shirt if you like unbutton it. Just make yourself not as noticeable, not as stand out-y, or you wouldn't stand out near as much. But anyway, this isn't very heavy. A 19 round Glock mag with 124 grain gold dots in it weighs 12 ounces. This magazine right here, 19 round with 124 grain, I think, gold dots, weighs 12 ounces. And a fully loaded 30 round 300 Blackout with lightweight bullets, like 120 something grain bullets, is like 1.25 pounds, like 20 ounces or something. So almost twice as heavy as this. And if you put subsonics, they're going to be even heavier than that. So each magazine is twice as heavy as a 9mm. Oh, and this is 3 pounds with 2 magazines. I have a reload on here. I've got 30 plus rounds. That's 8 pounds with 30, and I don't have a reload with it. So you can see how all this stuff, this weight is adding up. I know you're thinking, don't be a weenie, just work out more and you'll be able to tote it. I promise you, I work out enough. I'm plenty strong enough. But when you're putting all this stuff in a bag, like I can put this and my chest rig in a bag and still be probably smaller and lighter than just the rifle or just the pistol 300 Blackout AR. So I can have all of this and the chest rig and be a lighter, better package than just the weapon for the 300 Blackout. So that's why I swapped my PDW setup from a 300 Blackout AR to a Glock 17 in a Recover 2020 chassis. For all those reasons, it's smaller, lighter, whatever. You still get the same kind of capability, red dot flashlight, whatever, 3 points of contact. That's why I swapped to this. This may not be the best option. I think the Flux Raider might be better. Strike Industries makes some chassis for the 320, the SIG 320. What I'm saying is that's probably the better option because you can swap the handle out and it can be integrated in. It's not a clamshell. I don't have a SIG 320. I have a Glock 17 and Glock everything. So it's just easier for me, easier and cheaper to go with this versus investing in the whole package of a SIG 320. But either way, either option will be great. There's other options besides that, but take a look into it. Don't just discount it because it's a 9mm pistol. You know, take a look. There's other people with videos on similar weapons. You know, Brass Facts has got a few videos on it. Goes more in depth of like the theory and the purpose or whatever. So anyway, check them out. If you need a PDW, think about what you're really going to be needing to use it for, and you know, put this in the lineup of things to consider.